Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be talking about the Pixel Fold. We're going to be discussing a few things about this device. Now, at the recording of this video, I'm exactly roughly a month away from my actual delivery date. I jumped out there and I ordered during the presentation. I kept refreshing the website. I was like, I got to be one of the first ones to get this because I don't want to wait a very long time because I knew that it would sell extremely well. And no doubt, it definitely did. It sold extremely well, and it's selling extremely well. I look on the website right now, and I ordered the porcelain. I wanted a 512 porcelain, but unfortunately, for 1,800 bucks, they chose to not do it. They could have. I don't appreciate that, but it is what it is. A device like that definitely should have had a minimum of 512 gigs. I don't even understand the logic behind that. That's a big red X on that part of the device already. The base standards for the memory should have been 512 to begin with, not 256. 1,800 bucks, and all we get is porcelain with the 256 gig. And then the space gray looking color, the black color, that color got the 512 option, and obviously it's sold out quickly because for 100 bucks more or so, you get double the storage. Now, that was when I first saw that, I was kind of frustrated with that. I was like, wow, I really want this porcelain in 512 or 1 terabyte. All those rumors were false. So that's a bummer. But I placed my order as soon as the device became available during the presentation. Like I said, I was refreshing the website. It popped up. I jumped in there and ordered right away. I ordered the tablet, and I ordered the phone, and I ordered the Pixel Fold, the 7A, the tablet, and the Fold. Now, you all know by now I've already canceled that order, and I went and picked up a 7A the day of launch, and I've given you tons of videos on that already. Got it for $399 ultimately. They had it for $450 and then another 50 bucks with a gift card or whatever. So it brings it down to 400 bucks. But nonetheless, the Fold is generally ultimately is what this video is about. Now the device costs 1,800 bucks. Now somehow in some people's mind, they kind of figured that Google was going to drop this device for $1,000 bucks or something like that to try to steal away from the competition, which right now is basically only Samsung in the US. And I think people were crazy for thinking that. I saw some rumors like that, and I was like, there is no way. I'll report this, but there's no way they're going to drop this phone for $1,000 bucks. They've probably been working on it for 2 years, and I think they'll do a lot better than Microsoft when they drop their first foldable after a year of production, or 2 years of production. That's horrible. Great phone, great device. I still have it. But I grabbed the porcelain in 256 gig because I couldn't get a 512. Bummed, but did it anyway. Really wanted the porcelain. And I'm glad I did. So I jumped out there, and my date is approximately 1 month for delivery from today. I guess I was one of the first people to actually get in there and get it. And, my delivery date is still June 25th or something like that, or June 26th. So I'm happy about that. Patiently waiting. Hopefully the tablet comes next. That way I'll have something to entertain me during this time because I'm loving the 7A, but I'm only going to do so much on the 7A so soon. I need to continue to use it, which I'm doing, and make phone calls, check the software, check for overheat, all these different things with 7A. So it's getting used. But I really hope the tablet comes before my Fold. But the Fold costs 1,800 bucks. Now, as a tech enthusiast, I've had this conversation with people. Because also right now, I think people are just kind of making videos about the Fold. It's not here yet, about the price of it, just to get people to engage. And that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to make an entertaining video. But to imply that Google overpriced it and you don't have it, or to imply that it's not worth it and you don't have it and you've never used it, it's just ludicrous to me. All the people out there that are saying that there's no value there and it's not worth it. You don't have it yet. How can you say that? It's incredible. Now, I always believe that when you get something, you are going to be the one that to decide whether it's worth it or not. People ask me, is this phone worth it? And I always reply like, hey, you got to buy it for yourself. This is my perspective on it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to say it's worth it. Or I'm going to say it's not worth it, and some of you guys are going to say the opposite. Oh, yeah, I think it's worth it. No, I don't think it's worth it. That's how it works. You have to use it yourself, and you have to figure out whether or not you are the one that's going to put the price tag on that device. But I still think in 2023, it is comical at best that you got creators and influencers saying it's not worth it, and they haven't even used it for a month. They haven't used it for 2 weeks. They haven't used it for 3 weeks. They haven't used it at all. They're just looking solely at the price and the specs. Have we not learned our lesson with this yet? There are plenty of phones out there that are low in price that are much better value or better than phones that are high in price. And there are phones out there that are high in price that are actually worth it to a lot of people. Case in point, I used to even say things about people with iPhones, but the fact is, I don't buy an iPhone because of resale value. Those are tech enthusiasts saying that. Those are influencers saying stuff like that. Who cares about the resale value of something on a phone? It's a depreciating asset. That's what it is. So I don't buy into something thinking about the price on when I'm going to resell it. I buy it because I want to keep it and enjoy it and use it. Not a lot of creators think like that, more than likely. They're running their situation on, I need to buy this, do a bunch of videos on it, I'm already planning to sell it in this amount. Totally fine. That's how you have to run your channel. I have sold things like this before. I've bought things and sold them, or I have catch and release series on my channel. If I don't like it, I'll either return it or sell it. Not very many of those lately because everything has gotten so good. But, the point is, for all those people that are concerned about the price of the Pixel Fold, I don't want to say get over it. I would say stay in your lane. And that's not like a flex or anything like that, because clearly, if you're harping on what something costs, it is not your lane. That's just how I feel about people who do that. And I'm not going to get on here and say, well, you can't afford it. Other people will tell you can't afford it. I just say stay in your lane. If you have that much focus on the price, you're out of your lane. You're still thinking of phones that may cost $200, $300, $400 or less. And people still complain about those phones. People are complaining about the Pixel 7's price. Pixel 7's price is equally matching, and the phone is outdoing other phones in tons of areas, period. But to a lot of people, still in the tech world, and I'll say we, even though I don't feel like this, we still want everything for free. We want them to bring out, OEMs, to bring out phones that are loaded to the gill and give it to us for $299, just so we can turn around and trash it anyway. Case in point, the Essential phone, phenomenal phone. People hated it for the price it was at. As soon as the price dropped, oh, this is a great value. Okay, there's a difference between a great value and because the Essential phone was way ahead of its time. Also, Microsoft Surface Duo, the original one, it was flawed by software, but over the last 3 years, they fixed that. Now that's one of the best purchases ever, and you can find it. And I was an early adopter. I paid full cost for that at the first drop twice, but over the years I've gotten different versions, and I'm now down to my last one, and I'm happy with it. But Surface Duo was another one that came out pretty hefty on price, but it was flawed from software. The Essential phone technically wasn't flawed for software. People were saying about the cameras, but those cameras were great in my opinion, and several other people. So when it comes to Pixel Fold, the people that are really just complaining that it should be lower in price without having it, without have used it, are the same people holding an overpriced iPhone, in my personal opinion, and I have them too. I have them, so I'm not just speaking out of turn here or just saying something out the side of my neck. The iPhones are overpriced because their advantage is camera and software to some other phones, but now that is not the case anymore. The stability of iOS is still strong. The power of iOS on phones is still strong. It is one of the most powerful phones you could possibly get. But who's using that power, and where are they using it? Most people just want a great set of cameras at this point, and that conversation is out the window now, because this is the front camera on this Ultra, the S23 Ultra, and it looks phenomenal. It looks better than the iPhone in a ton of ways. The bokeh is right, the portrait is right, the tones are correct, but the iPhone still is a strong phone. And I'm going to go ahead and say a strong contender now, because while it was ranked really high, that phone is not number one. But people love that phone, and they'll hold that phone like it's gold after they just paid $1,500 or $1,200 for that phone. Oh, but wait, it has great resale value. Come on. If the Pixel Fold comes out, and I'll say the same thing I did about the first time the Tensor chip was launching. If the chip fails or they don't optimize things right, ultimately if the chip fails her optimization is screwed, or there's heating issues, that instantly plagues the device. And unfortunately, people are going to try to find that and make that happen, because it seems like when pixels drop, no matter what it is, people instantly flock to the internet and start saying how horrible they are after just a few days, you know? Or that 2-week return period. Yeah, it was overheating every day. Well, I mean, you were in 110-degree weather outside in the sun. A lot of phones can overheat in that situation, and a lot of phones don't. But with respect, the Pixel Fold to me is not overpriced, and it is priced accordingly. You have to price, if you want, people used to say that the iPhones were the most premium phones. Well, that was true at one point, but they're not anymore. You've got phones in the Vivo line, the Huawei line, the Xiaomi line, the Samsung line, the Pixel line that feel better, look better, and just all around better premium feeling hardware. But the Pixel Fold looks like it's going to be premium. And so while people are comparing it to the Z Fold 4, I have the Z Fold 4, and I will give a little shakedown of that. But the Pixel Fold gets the light overall. I'm going to really hone in on that device and try to give you as much coverage as I can, instead of jumping out there comparing it first to the Pixel Fold, because the Pixel Fold is on number 4, and you know they're seasoned in it. But when Google comes out with this Fold, and it is not flawed, and it is holding its own, and it's doing better than the Fold 4 in a lot of areas, I want to hear you speak up. I don't want you to downplay the success of the Pixel Fold, because this is what will happen. The internet will speak, and certain people will talk on the internet, and they will say one or two things about the Pixel, and if it's not positive, or it's not something that's jazzing right with the masses, here come the followers, and they'll just follow, and they'll flood the internet with the same comment. We don't want that. It seems like when the device is given praise and success, people don't really talk about it as much. It just kind of gets brushed under the wind, or under the rug. So I feel like the Pixel Fold, while it is expensive, just like the Fold 4, all these folding devices are at least $1,500. And then you've got other devices coming out that are way more, $2,500. People keep talking about the Fold 1. That phone was $2,000 and it wasn't good. The Fold series didn't really get firm in their ground until the third generation of it, in my opinion, because I've tested them all. And the third generation was a solid one. But this 4 is even better. So Google, with their rendition of a folding device, I'm really praying that they really did a lot of research before coming to the market with it. That solves a lot of issues. When they dropped the Pixel 6, boy, it was a nightmare for a lot of people. But the Pixel 7 came after just one generation. Pixel 7 shut it down. And I'm talking about the new design, the newer platform, the Tensor chip. After one generation, Pixel 7 crowned the king. By 99% of the internet, looks like to me. Everybody loves the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro. One of my older sisters, about to be 58, she has a Pixel 7 Pro. Pixel 7 Pro. Loves it. She's not even a tech enthusiast. But obviously I am. Well, she's a tech enthusiast. It's the one that I always used to talk about back in the day that loved LG. She loved it. She had LG phones for life. But I told her to switch over to Pixels. She was having some problems with phones and Android, so she loves Android. But she carries an iPhone too, but it's not like a newer one, but Android is her primary. But Pixel 7 Pro, 58 years old, Pixel 7 Pro, loves it. So the Pixel Fold, when it drops, I'm not saying we need to give Google a pass, because if you're paying attention, I already spoke on how I feel about it, but it's before I have it. But there's some things that are just obvious to me that I think we can collectively agree on. It's $1,800. I'm not telling you I agree with the price. I don't agree with paying $1,800, $1,900 for my Pixel Fold. I mean, on my Fold 4 and my Fold 3. I don't agree with paying these prices. But this is the price. That is just a check mark off for the company, you know? It's a strike against them. Get that price down. But they can't get the price down because there's no competition. Like, that's why you can get slab phones for $300 and they're phenomenal. That's why you can get phones like that, because there's so many of them. There's not a lot of people with folds in their hands. I actually see a lot of fold fours in the wild. In my community, people have fold fours like nothing. Business owners. I talked to some other colleagues and business owners, and they have fold fours. They're like, I need the productivity. The slabs are nice from Samsung and Apple, but I need productivity. There's also people that have Surface Duos too that I speak with, and because they need the functionality and productivity. And this is why folds are so important. The Pixel Fold just needs to take advantage of Word documents, PowerPoint, Excel. That kind of workflow is going to be great to a lot of business owners, myself included, because I need to run 2 websites, the church website and my own personal website, and I also need to run a YouTube channel. Having the Pixel Fold with a different orientation and canvas compared to my Fold 4, I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's just something that the price is all. I was watching Trent Text. I wasn't watching. I was looking at something he tweeted, and he talked about now Google is charging. You can get it for 36 months, implying they're locking you in or whatever. And I get it. If you finance it, you have to pay it off, and it's like $50 a month or something like that. That's just an easier pill to swallow for a lot of people. Same thing as financing your phones like Caviar. I avoid that at all costs, but it's incredible. They're trying to almost make, and not just Google, Verizon. I often laughed at people on carriers with 36 months and things like that. But in reality, I've learned to accept that I'm not those people. And there's a lot of people that want to enjoy something, but they just don't want to or have the means to dump it all out there like that. Let's be 100 here. Creators and influencers get paid off of YouTube videos. I get paid for you watching this video. It's something that a lot of people just don't want to talk about, but that is how I choose not to use my retirement money. I choose not to use my pension. I choose not to use my stocks and things like that. That stuff is to build wealth for my grandchildren and family for later on down the line. And every now and then I'll dip in there and buy myself something. But nonetheless, the YouTube money that I'm making is to fund the stuff on the YouTube channel. Once you get to enough and you get to a certain status, you have the ability every month to buy a $2,000-$3,000 phone, and it just keeps cycling back through. And the great part is you get to keep the stuff, it pays for itself, and you can turn around and sell it in a year or give it to a family member. I love giving phones and stuff to family members. Love it. All the way down to the grandkids. Everybody can have a phone. Children, they're all older and have their own cell phone plans and stuff like that. But still, if anybody needs a phone, you need a temporary fix, come here. Go into storage and go to other storage I have. Go over there, pick out what you want, and enjoy it. But the Fold's price is $1,800. I've already checked the box on that. And, I don't really like that price, but that's the price. What do you want me to do? I'm into technology like that, and I'm going to gripe about it, but I'm going to do it tastefully and tactfully. I don't need to jump on Twitter and trash the company or just keep pushing a narrative. That's what I don't like. But, it's your prerogative. I choose not to take that lane, and I try to keep as quiet on Twitter as I can, and because I don't like having all these social media accounts anyway. But I don't want to push a narrative about something, especially if I don't have any intentions on buying it, or I know that's not my lane that I'm in, that I can actually do it. But I think a lot of people should be grateful that companies like Google, who are selling you an unlocked device, Apple selling you an unlocked device, Samsung selling you an unlocked device, and they'll allow you to pay monthly for it. Samsung even has Samsung financing. I don't have Samsung financing, but they offer Samsung financing. Apple has, I guess, Apple financing or whatever, or basically the Apple card, I guess. And Google has Google financing. I used to have Samsung financing. I don't know how many years when it first launched. I don't know. It's been a long time. And I had Google financing, and I closed them both. I was like, this is silly. I'll just put it over here. I have a 0 interest rate credit card. I'll just put it there, or I'll just pay cash for it. One of the two. So to gripe so much about something that you probably are not going to buy, you're just going to make content on it to have discussion videos on it, is perfectly fine. Like, I'm not knocking. And I think I said it before. I hope I don't offend anybody, because I'm not talking about one person. I referenced Trent's tweet because that's just what it is. He put it out there. He said, hey, look, next thing you know, it's going to be 48 months. But if it is, so what? There's people that need to be in that lane. And I think the reality is they're accepting that lane. Because I think a lot of times, and shout out to Trendstat, but sometimes people harp too much on one item here and forget about the rest of the stuff that it could possibly be adding value to the conversation. Because by now, the event's been over for a month now, hasn't it, right? 3 weeks, I don't know how long it's been. And we all know the price. Now people have decided, I'm going to purchase this, or I'm going to finance it, I'm going to do whatever I want to do with it, I'm going to get it, I'm not going to get it. But I think it's crazy at this point in the game to insinuate or imply that Google should drop this phone at $1,000, or there's people out there talking about it should have been $15.99. How are you coming up with this number? How are you coming up with a number and you don't have it yet? You've never used it, never touched it, you don't know anything about it, you've only watched the program about it, and you see other people talking about it on the internet. How are you coming up in your mind that something should cost less? Because really what you're doing is you're telling me, the way I interpret it is, this is where financially I'm at. This is what I can afford to put into this situation. And if they don't do that, I'm just going to tell everybody this is what it should be. Now, a good way to talk about price on something is after you buy it, then you can set the value based on something else you already have used. Like, I'm going to compare it to the Fold 4. Some people, Gigi will compare it to the Vivo Fold devices. She'll compare it to all those devices because that's what she has. She's going to be able to tell you, shout out to Gigi, guys. Barry will be able to compare it to any folding device he has. You have to, and Eric will compare it to his Fold 4, I'm sure. But you have to me, that is how I determine the value of something or how something's worth or something at that point. Or here's what my perspective, this is where it should be priced based on this. So the price conversation could go on and on. We can have a round table about this all day with a bunch of influencers or creators, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere because you're going to have these people that say it should be priced at this. And you're going to have these people that say it's fairly priced. You're going to have those people that say it's just completely overpriced either way. But for me, the price is high. I don't agree with it. I've said this multiple times. They don't get a pass because I like pixels. It's $1,800. And it cost me $1,947 and like 58 cents after taxes. That's a big chunk of change. But the position I'm in, I'm not really bothered by it. And that goes to, that's not a flex. That goes to thank you for watching my videos. Make $100 off of that video. Make $5, $10 off of that video. It just adds up over time. So when it comes time to do a launch, I got the money saved for it. So thank you. I appreciate you supporting me since 2006. We're in 2023, folks. That's a long time. Now, granted, I've only been active since 2000, like fully active with tech stuff, I think since 2008 or so. Still, a lot of time under my belt in this. And I complained about stuff a lot at one point, but I just put my head down and started grinding because I knew that a lot of these things back in the day, I was like, there's no way I want to put my money towards that. I can take that $2,000 and put it on the stock market. I hear people saying that all the time, but are they actually doing it? It's just something to say for a lot of people. But the price is the price. My complaint also about the price is that it's freaking $1,800 for a 512 gig. I think that's, or for 256 gig, I think the starting memory should have been 512, and that $1,900 should have been a terabyte. That's what I think. And that's just based on the memory options and stuff like that. Because those are things that are on the device that I can physically comment on based on other devices that I have with the same price range and fold. That's something that you could actually speak on without having it, in my opinion. I didn't want to pay $1,800 for 256 gigs of storage. I didn't want to do that, but I wanted the device, so I said, hey, swallow the pill, bid it, and I'm over it. But that's not fairly priced in that perspective, but 256 gig is enough for a lot of people. I would assume by now in 23, remember when 8 gigs was on it, 4 gigs was on phone? Yeah, we're past all that now. The performance of the Tensor chip, I think I'll be happy with it based on my current Tensor chips. But you know, other than that, the price and the memory options are two things that, you know, I didn't take it too well, but it was over quickly because I told you, I got in there and started typing in my debit card as soon as the event was on. I was like, yeah, as soon as this site opens up, I'm in there. Now my date, like I was saying before, hasn't changed. It's actually still the same. And I even got a confirmation email from Google. Some of you guys probably got that same email because we're about 30 days out saying, hey, this is your delivery date. Now, if you go in there now and try to order, The 512 in black is gone, and the porcelain is pushed out to like August or something like that, and the black one is still around July 3rd when I went in there. It looks like, or the 27th to July 3rd or something like that. And my Project 13, he made a video talking about how his date moved and stuff like that, and I get it. I've been through that before with Samsung. They kept moving my date on my Fold Z Flip 4 and stuff like that. So I eventually just canceled and picked a different color for a while. And after I was able to get in there, I went back and got the color I originally wanted, which was the blue and the purple. But, I get what you want. You have some patience, I say. If you wanted the porcelain, you had to bite the bullet, and you weren't getting a 512, but you really wanted the color, you should have grabbed it. And you should be willing to wait. You got to get in there quick, though, because I must have gotten in there really fast. We don't know how many of the 512s they actually made or was ready for production to sell right away, but they're sold out. And they could have built 500 of them. Who knows? Or they could have built 5,000 of them. We don't know. But what we do know is the Pixel Fold is obviously really impressive because they're selling. That date keeps going farther and farther back because people are buying them. So whether they're financing them on their credit card, their Google financing, they put it on their whatever, they pay cash for it. It doesn't, meaning debit card. They're selling. It's already very popular in comparison to Samsung online talking about 4 generations or 5 generations is better than 1. That has got to be the lamest insults I've ever heard. Love Samsung products, but sit down somewhere. You know why? Because Samsung made fun of Apple for the cutout, then they turned right around and did it themselves. So sit down, Samsung. Google's getting ready to slide in here, and they're getting ready to take some of the market from Samsung regardless, just because they're Google, not Bixby. Their Google Voice is on there, Google Assistant is on there. That crushes pretty much everything out there. So sit down, Samsung, because we all know what's going to happen. You now are going to make that form factor later on and try to pretend that you did it better. We know it's coming. That is the form factor that a lot of people want. When the Apple Find N dropped and those devices dropped in that orientation, people were excited about it. They loved it. It could fit in their pocket. It was comfortable. Most people who had the Fold 4 said it's too narrow. Now, I personally love the outer screen. I like to be able to hold it in one hand. But another advantage the Pixel Fold has over the Fold 4, shuts flat. I don't see too many people talking about that. The design of the Pixel Fold is much sleeker, and I think it just looks better than the Fold 4. And the Fold 4 isn't very old. You know what I mean? So let Google have their moment, because I think a lot of people are going to buy this Fold and it's going to stay sold out. And I don't think we're going to have very many issues with this device. I just don't see it happening. So the price is the price. The memory is the memory. The build quality is the build quality. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I can't. I posted a picture online and people thought I had it because I put it virtual reality on my chair in front of me. But I mean, I can't wait. I'm excited just like you. And I'm a creator. So that's the that's the good part about doing creation. If you want these things, I mean, I've done a whole series on how to start a YouTube channel on this channel, and multiple times, you can have it. If you just want to buy tech, start a YouTube channel with what you have and start talking about it, create a vlog like most people do. Some people have no intentions on buying this stuff, but they just do reports on it. That's why I started doing Monday Smartphone News, because I was getting burned out on buying all this stuff, and then I can only give away so much and use so much. So, long video, but I want to talk about this because it had to be said. Shout out to Trends Tech and all the people that I mentioned in the video. My Project 13, Eric, Gigi, Barry, all these different people. Shout out to Mims, because I know he's rocking with it too. And anybody out there who's going to grab it that I can think of, congrats on your new device. I'm excited. But after hearing what I had to say, don't you agree that it's a little high in price, but it's priced right where it's supposed to be? And to the people that say, oh, it's not worth it, how are you coming up with this? To the people that say, it should be $200 less, it should be $300 less, how are you coming up with this if you haven't even touched it yet? Holler at me down below. It's your man Jay, I guess enjoyed. This is the beauty of having a S Pen by remote. I love it. Front camera on the S23 Ultra. How did it do? No special lighting, no microphones, no nothing. I love this. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.